See it a little bit opposite of that. I think, the young voters voted for President Obama because they believed in the promise of hope and change, and now they're walking away from the president without any hope. If you look, these young people were promised jobs, they were promised higher incomes, they were promised lower cost student loans, and they're not getting those things. You have an 8.3% unemployment. You've got high school tuition loans. You've got just a really bad job market out there. And so these people who believe that President Obama was going to bring all this change to Washington, one thing that they did get though is they're allowed to stay on their parents' health insurance rolls until they're 26 years old, so they can live in their parents' basement and not have a job and be on health insurance.
Ron, let me jump in now and let's take a look at another Pew Research poll showing registered voters who definitely plan to vote this year. There are the numbers right there. Age group 18 to 29, 72% in 2008. This year that has dipped to by 9 points to 63%. 30 to 49, 84% in 2008 said they definitely would vote. Now that's 83%, pretty close there. Let me go to that last number there. The 65 plus age group, 87% said they were definitely planning to vote in 2008. That has jumped to 91%, which is Romney, by the way. That is Romney's strongest age demographic. So, Debbie, I'm going to get back to you on this one. Let's talk about this. How much stock do the campaigns put into polls, especially this close to the election day? And how reliable are these polls when you factor in access to varied demographics? And do the voters really pay attention to these polls? Debbie?
Well, I have a whole theory on polling, and I'm going to get my doctorate someday and write it on this. Polls are a snapshot in time. There's so many polls now. There's so many different methodologies. And they drive things that they should not drive. Both of the campaigns have sophisticated people that know how to read polling and know how to take it into account. I think some people let it drive the news media. Sometimes it drives fundraising in a way that it shouldn't. But the fact of the matter is it's a snapshot in time. But I keep reminding people right now of two elections. One was the Michigan election when 3 days out in 1990, both the Detroit Free Press and Detroit News had polls taken on Governor Jim Blanchard's campaign. Two different polls showed him 13 points up, and he lost 3 days later. Polls are a snapshot in time and are exactly what they are, a snapshot, and aren't the end result.
So then, Ron, you'll probably get the last word on this one. How important are the polls, and do the voters pay attention?
Well, voters definitely pay attention to the polls, or at least they hear a lot about the polls. There's a lot of media hype around the polling between Romney and Obama right now, and it does matter for fundraising, and it is a snapshot in time. And so, it can be an indicator of which way the trend of the election is going on certain key messages that both candidates are trying to push. So, I don't want to put a lock, stock, and barrel to every single poll that comes out, but if you look over a trend line, you can see patterns develop so they can adjust their campaigns.
Okay, well, as I said, you probably were going to have the final word on that, and you did. And by the way, Debbie, so if you get that doctorate you're talking about, you'll be Dr. Debbie Dingle?
At some point, it's all going to be on polling, and it's going to be how